Thanks for joining us. Don't attempt to adjust your set. This is not a rerun. I'm back and glad to be back and glad to be talking with the governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Her Excellency Maura Healey. Governor, welcome.
Hey,
good to have you.
Great to see you back, John.
Thank you. So, in an interview last June, you said of the controversial surtax on incomes of over $1 million, the so-called millionaire's tax, quote, "We need to evaluate what's going on. I want to see the numbers. I want to see what's happening in terms of any potential outmigration." Well, it's been almost a year since then. Substantial outmigration continues. There's anecdotal evidence, not undisputed, that the tax is fueling a damaging exodus. Do you agree? And what, if anything, are you going to do about it?
I think that we need to do everything that we can to lower taxes. And that's why in my first year I cut taxes. It was the first time we'd had a tax cut in over 20 years. I think we need to continue to look at ways to reduce the cost of living overall for people. And that's why, John, you know, I've been so focused on building homes and bringing more energy in and working on healthcare costs. It's an interesting time right now because while we talk about costs, our population's grown here by 120,000 people over the last 3 years. We do have some people leaving, and there are different reasons for that. As governor, I want to make sure that we are doing everything as a state to make Massachusetts the place you want to come to, the place you want to raise a family and grow a business. And I'll say this, just look in the last 3 weeks alone. We had J.P. Morgan come with hundreds of jobs. P&G, Gillette, GE Aerospace just opened up new advanced manufacturing in Lynn. Whoop is expanding. So we're seeing companies come, we're seeing companies expand, but we need to take a look at, and that's what my Competitiveness Council is doing.
So the worst is over? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think that we, how can it be when we have a president who's raising costs every day? I mean, we still have the impact of tariffs. Now we've got the war in the Middle East wreaking havoc. So, you know, we can't control those things, but we've got to do everything we can here to focus on lowering costs.
So your level of concern about particularly people with capital, investors and so forth, fleeing the state ahead of that millionaire's tax is what? High, low, non-existent?
Oh, it's a concern, right?
It is.
I mean, you want to have, it's a concern, and I'm working to address that. I mean,
okay.
I'll tell you the first thing, though, is with any revenue that's come in through that surtax, I want to make sure we're getting the very best ROI on that. And I think we've made really good investments in transportation. Look at our improved T. In education, we've increased childcare. We've increased vocational seats in high school. We've increased and made free community college. But I think we've got to always be looking at our overall tax regime here in Massachusetts and what do we need to do to make Massachusetts more competitive.
What about Proposition 2.5? A lot of overrides headed for the ballot in cities and towns this spring. You proposed a couple of years ago a local option to raise the excise tax, which is auto excise, which is a part of Prop 2.5. Do you think it's time to look at wholesale reform of that law?
You know, I think what you see playing out in cities and towns is they're having the same struggle that states are having with their budgets, that our households are having with their budgets.
But do you think they need relief from Prop 2.5's constraints?
You know, I don't know about that. I don't think so. I don't think so. What I do think, though, is that we've got to be working collectively to figure out how do we build more homes. You know, I'm building 100,000 homes right now in Massachusetts. I got rid of broker's fees. I've got a program for middle-class first-time homeowners, a down payment program, and it also comes with a lower interest rate. You know, these are the things that we've got to focus on. Bringing in more energy supply so we can lower those costs. Healthcare, I cut deductibles and co-pays. We just got to find a way to continue to lower costs for families and for businesses in Massachusetts.
Well, Governor, you voted for Question 1, giving the auditor the right to audit the legislature, right?
I did.
Why?
Yeah, I voted for the audit. I'm with the people. I think.
Why did you want that?
I believe in transparency. You know, I'm audited all the time. My state agencies are audited, so I voted for the audit. I think it should happen.
Well, you've been kind of on the sidelines of this ongoing battle between the auditor and the legislative leaders over whether this law that 72% of the voters approved should take effect. Want to get off the sidelines and give us a hard, fast opinion on that?
Well, I just did, and it's been my opinion the entire time, which is to say, I voted for the audit. I think it should happen, and I'd like to get on with it.
Okay, so you'd like to see the legislative leaders back off and drop their resistance?
I'd like to see the audit, and that continues to be my position, and I've been really public about that position, that I support the audit.
Okay. You've spoken out against a couple of current ongoing ballot question proposals, one that would impose statewide rent control, another cutting back the state income tax. Now, the House Speaker and Senate President recently criticized the ballot question process as too easily manipulated by money and confusingly worded questions. They say it's a bad way to make policy. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, the ballot process is there for people to exercise and to use. I guess I'd say this, I'm working every day, John. I've got bills filed right now, pending, that I want to sign on energy, lowering energy costs, on investing in science and research, on modernizing our college campuses and state infrastructure, on creating more jobs, on protecting against some of the abuses of ICE. So I'm going to continue to push forward with legislation that I think is important to Massachusetts and our growth and development.
Right.
Those questions, you mentioned rent control. Look, as I say, I'm building 100,000 homes right now. I know how important it is to lower housing costs. I'm working on it every day.
Well, you've made the point, sorry to interrupt, but you've made the point that you feel if that question passed, it would upend a lot of your housing policies.
Well, we understand what's driving it. People can't afford rent.
Right.
They can't afford a home. This is not just a Massachusetts issue. It's happening around the country. But what we know from rent control is that it actually halts housing production. So at a time when I want to build more homes, rent control is going to stop housing production. Why? Because investors who put the money up to develop and build those homes are going to other parts of the country. That has happened already, just with the specter of this being on the ballot. So I understand what's driving it. It's not the way to lower housing costs. You don't like it? No, we got to grow supply. I mean, that's why I made ADUs something you can do by right. For example, that's why I'm saying
those are the accessory dwelling units.
Yeah, you got to check one out. It's great.
Well,
you can have, it's for our in-laws. It's in-law apartments, or if you don't like that, it's for your kids.
My dog sleeps in bed with us. She doesn't need it.
Or you just rent it to a stranger and make a little money, John.
All right. On another affordability question that's really current right now. We know that you blame President Trump and his Iran adventure for skyrocketing gas prices. But you've also said you want to do everything you can to ease the financial burden on people. And one thing you could do, something Governor Baker did, your fellow Democrats in New Hampshire and Connecticut are currently doing, is propose a temporary suspension of the gas tax until prices ease up. Are you open to that or not?
Well, I mean, as you just said, what needs to happen is President Trump needs to stop his billion-dollar war. I mean, what is it, $1 billion a week right now? We've already spent billions in the Middle East. You see what's happening at the pump. I mean, gas today, it's like $3.90 today.
Yeah, it's crazy.
4 weeks ago, John, it was $2.90, so it's gone up $1 in just 4 weeks. That needs to stop. The president needs to be working on bringing energy prices and prices generally under control.
Temporary suspension. Good idea, bad idea.
Again, when you're talking about a jump in $1 in 4 weeks, and who knows what it's going to be 2 weeks from now, the gas tax is currently 24 cents. So, I think the solution here, first of all, is ending the conflict in Iran and settling the markets and, lowering the cost of oil, which, by the way, isn't just affecting people at the pump. Home heating oil. There are a lot of people in Massachusetts and in New England that are paying a lot more for home heating oil. That's the kind of work we need to do. The other thing that we need to do on the state level, I'll tell you, John, is we need to increase our energy supply. And that's what I've been trying to do. Bring in more solar, more wind, more gas, more hydro, more battery storage, more energy supply. And that's going to help lower everybody's gas and electric bills.
So just to be clear, no interest in a suspension of the gas tax?
I just don't think it's going to get us very far right now in the overall picture. I certainly, am working and driving every day to lower people's costs. But the biggest thing that needs to happen here, the biggest thing is that this war has got to end. And the cost of oil needs to start going down instead of continuing to go up.
I could do another hour with all the questions I have, but our time is up. We appreciate you coming by, Governor, and we'll be talking with you a lot during this re-election year.
Have me back. I look forward to it.
Good luck.
Thank you.